Hey, good morning. This is Joe from Citrus County Porch Life coming to you today with the AA word of the day for February 7th, 2025. And that word is a path to faith. True humility and an open mind can lead us to faith. In every AA meeting is an assurance that God will restore us to sanity if we rightly relate to Him. And that is 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 33. My last drunk had landed me in the hospital totally broken. It was then that I was able to see my past float in front of me. I realized that through drinking, I had lived every nightmare I ever had. My own self will and obsession to drink had driven me into a dark pit of hallucinations, blackouts, and despair. Finally beaten, I asked for God's help. His presence told me to believe. My obsession for alcohol was taken away, and my paranoia has since been lifted. I am no longer afraid. I know my life is healthy and sane. Ooh, what a powerful reading. Basically, except for a few details, this writer told my story. Uh, I didn't end up in the hospital, but I ended up at what was my bottom, just feeling awful, on the way to liver failure, told by a doctor that I had a fatty liver, and my nightmares were all of my own making, every single one of them. I caused all my problems. I I didn't hallucinate so much, but I had the, crazy thoughts all the time. I wasted trying to figure out how to beat this thing. And this wasn't me just sitting down doing, a mental exercise. This is me looking up articles, and when I think of the amount of time I spent, and finally beaten, I asked for God's help, and I didn't do it right away. It's not like, because when I came in, I was still holding on to that I could figure this thing out. But it was going through the beginners meetings for 6 months, concentrating on step one. Yeah, and then finally, maybe my first thought was, well, maybe they're right. And then, maybe I'm not as in charge as I think I am. Then, maybe what I'm doing is causing all this chaos. And so it was, a gradual awakening. And I can say what I saw at that first meeting, the obsession for alcohol was lifted. Plus, I had a very, very great desire first to see if I could go 3 days without drinking, because that seemed to be my limit. I got the itch after 3 days and I wanted to drink for no particular reason. I think it was something physically in me with, with the sort of withdrawal process that kind of bent my will towards having another drink. And I got through those first 3 days and I felt okay. And I can remember I was going to a different meeting, not the one that had the first step meeting for beginners. Well, one with the guy Hervey and his dog. He ran this meeting in an old factory building. And I asked him, I said, I think I'm starting to feel better. Because he would light up when I came in. He told me he thought that I had a chance because I wasn't court ordered. I came on my own and I really wanted to get sober. So he, he said, you feel better every day. And what he said was true. Then I told him once I lost construction truck, once I lost, I quit in March. By June, Bank of Boston had let me go. And that was particularly stressful in the sense on economic insecurity. One, because I owned a house, and at the same time, it was a general downturn in the economy, and things were pretty bad. A lot of people were laid off. In fact, there were extended benefits, and I just did not want to. When I worked for Uniroyal, that had happened. General downturn in was 75 or 1975 or 1976, and I wasted all the time that I was on unemployment. I drank. I'd give names and addresses of places that I was supposed to have visited to look for a job. But there really weren't manufacturing jobs. That was a great exodus of manufacturing jobs from the United States with the NAFTA treaty and all that. So I didn't want it to happen again, and not being drunk all the time, I was able to look presentable. I can dress up. I know down here in Florida, I have a t-shirt and shorts on. Well, I wore a shirt and tie for 12 years when I went to grammar school and high school, and I showed up at the University of Rhode Island in a shirt and tie for a class, and they could tell he was a Catholic schoolboy, all shirt iron, tie on. But so uh, I was able. I know I've talked a lot about this beginners meeting, but it was the most wonderful thing because my mind wasn't clear. I was still holding on to the. I had this particular thing against all of the banners, kind of like that can't be true in all cases. Why do you even put it up if it's not? Uh, Even though I knew in some cases it was true, so I was kind of contrarian, but breaking fast. Let me put it that way. Going to the meetings, it broke my contrarianness to everything, and yeah, those. I went 6 months of that, and when I stopped going to the beginners meeting and joined the regular meeting, I had 6 months sobriety under my belt, and they quickly assigned me jobs, and it was wonderful, 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 and it was. It wasn't a full speakers meeting. I mean, the speakers were from the group, but once a month, the group went out and spoke to other groups, and they had other groups come in, and I liked that. Gave me a sense of camaraderie. Driving to a meeting with 4 or 5 other people, and having a meeting before the meeting, and I felt comfortable saying, what does that mean? What is that for? What are they saying what do they mean when they say that? And so it's all worked out well. I thank God that I had the opportunity to be surrounded by such wonderful people, men and women, who kept an eye on me. And I really wasn't, the obsession to drink was lifted, so I wasn't trying to sneak around or anything like that, although I can remember so many guys that I looked up to didn't make it, didn't even make it for my 6 months. Come in and did you hear? Tony died, Frank died, and I don't know if they were all from alcohol or from a combination of alcohol and drugs or just plain drugs. The group committed addicts in the one with the beginners meeting. So, and that even emboldened me more to keep along the path that I was on. So we've gone over 10 minutes of me reminiscing my experience. And my strength is the newcomer. It keeps me going. And there may be newcomers on here just exploring, afraid to go to a meeting, but tuning in to see what I'm talking about. What is this AA really about? And I'm glad of that. So God bless you all. Have a safe day, have a sober day, and we will see you tomorrow.